That's how I live my life. I jump into danger both feet.
That's right.
I like to
Pencil
think that
dive.
we're all on a highway to the danger zone.
Oh, fuck. Now
Given-
Wise words.
Given a little more time, I could have had that hotkey ready to go. Had I but known.
I'd like to think that we're all on a highway to
Smoke weed
The-
every day.
danger.
Got him.
There it is.
Stop it.
Can't hit me with the swed.
All right, I'm doing it. Here we go. Here we go. Hi, welcome to the show, Andy. Welcome to the show.
Jesus Christ.
I even give a warning.
Jesus.
Like, all right, boys, here we go. In 3, 2.
Professional broadcaster.
Welcome to what I hope is the last virtual podcast that we have to record for a while. Talking Reckless 320. My name is Matt Eads. I'm joined by Andy Captain.
Can I talk now?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Andy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hello?
Brandon Lynch is here.
How's it going, Matt? How are you? Do I get
It's
any
going.
sound effects?
I'm okay. Yeah, I figured for the last, hopefully the last. Things are kind of opening up here, so hopefully we'll be back in the studio soon. I figured for the last home one, we get the old soundboard hooked up, really give it the business. Warren
Play my
Barris,
sound.
Mamma mia!
excited to have you.
Hell yes.
That's pretty good. That's hard to tell if that's even you or the.
Mamma mia!
Mamma mia!
Oh, which one is real? Which one is fake? We'll never know. Welcome to the show. Episode 320 here on May the 24th. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's staying safe and sane. Things are kind of slowly starting to open back up here in Edmonton, which is cool. Stoked to get back into the
Did
studio.
we intro Whittle?
Did we enter a whittle?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just played the sound.
Oh,
Did
I
you think
missed
that
it,
was
sorry.
all on the soundboard, Andy?
No, I got confused. Sorry. I thought
Matt's
you didn't
just
say
like-
what.
Piecing together words like it's a fucking orchestra keyboard, just like a big organ.
That's right, Andy. That is very good. Yes, if we're streaming this live like we usually do. If you're watching the video, we have some excellent pictures. I chose the best picture of each of us. My favorite picture of each of us with Blathers representing our good friend Blathers Barris.
Hell yes.
Yeah, go check out the VODs and stuff. How we doing? How we doing, fellers? On the cusp of lockdown ending, at least for now. We'll probably be back in it, but
Oh, the floodgates are open. I have fully embraced the fact that we're allowed to go outside now. I don't think there's a stranger I haven't kissed. And basically, the entire world is back to normal in my world.
Brando, how are you feeling?
I'm not Andy levels, for sure. Haven't been going around licking things and in the way he has, but I've done a socially distanced restaurant visit where they only had like 8 people in a Boston Pizza, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, kind of all right actually. I get
Yeah.
used to that.
And I think they were like near capacity. They said they're like, we can't really do a lot more than this, and I'm like,
Oh,
that's
wow.
great. Yeah, I think I'm on kind of a tour of duty to find the places that I'm like, well, I don't feel comfortable here, and the places that I do feel comfortable that are doing a good job. So
Yeah, it's very weird going back outside.
I have to say, I went golfing and to a bar since they've kind of opened back up. I've felt more comfortable at both those places than I have going to a grocery store since this thing started.
yeah, grocery stores are still so much. They freak me out so much more than like going to a buddy's house and going to share a booth with my mother at a Boston Pizza with no one else around. Grocery stores still freak the hell out of me.
Totally. I was at the grocery store like 3 days ago. The folks preparing, because usually I go to the deli and get like some sandwich meat and a bunch of stuff. The folks behind the deli not wearing masks, and I was not okay with any of that. They're like cutting and handling food. Nobody's wearing a mask.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Couldn't deal with it. I even said something. I was like, oh, they didn't give you guys masks or what? And the lady just shrugged at me. Like, okay, whatever. Yeah, it's weird. We're living in unprecedented times. part of a major historical event, which 50 years from now might be kind of interesting to talk about. But
It will be.
it's very strange. It's very, very strange. Studio opening will be like my first seeing anybody in a lot of weeks. A lot of weeks.
I can't
Like
wait
Purell.
till I can't wait till the grandkids say, "Oh, wait, that's my grandpa voice." The grandkids wouldn't sound like that. Grandpa Andy, what did you do during the quarantine? And I'd just be like, "Oh, I was just playing Overwatch with the bees."
Yep, staying inside, looking at memes. The times were tough, but the memes were good.
Nah.
Let me show you
Also-
one, you young whippersnapper. And I'll be like, I don't understand
opens this
what this
photograph book, old album of like, oh, here's a meme. We laughed. I remember this one.
means.
Yeah. Also, your grandson sounds like he is in like a British orphanage.
Daddy,
Can I have some more?
please, Daddy, can I have some more porn?
More
Not
memes?
till I tell you about COVID-19.
Warren, how are you feeling? How are things in Beresburg?
I feel like I'm starting to get a little bit better, but
Yeah.
I am arguably more nervous because of people,
Mhm.
not necessarily like Andy, but like Andy, that
Yeah.
are taking this as a sign of we're totally fine. Which we
Like
are
Andy
better, but-
pretends to be.
Yes, that's
There are people who actually the second, and then like here in Alberta, in Edmonton specifically, it's really not bad. Like Brando was just telling us before the
Yeah.
show, we're like single digit confirmed cases in some areas, and even that is enough to like keep me freaked out. Imagine if we lived south of the border, a few, not even really very far, like a few 100 miles, and if that, you're in the States.
Yes, and the thing I think people need to keep telling themselves when they think we're out of it is that we don't start to open up because the virus is not a threat anymore. We are starting to open up because our hospitals have tons of room to deal with us if we get it.
Yeah, virus
Like,
always going to be a
it's-
threat. Always.
Yeah.
Even if we get a vaccine, like it's the new reality. We just all got to accept it. It's always going to be. We're probably always going to. Well, maybe not in this part of the world, but we probably always should wear masks when we go to, say, supermarkets. Just going forward. Wear your masks. Don't be.
I'll never do it.
You at home. Wear your masks. Andy, wear your goddamn mask.
I watched a
I
video
don't,
today. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Whittle.
I don't have a mask because I don't go places.
They're very hard to find.
I got a nice fucking one with some leaves on it here. I'm holding it right
Oh
now.
wow.
I have
Fucking
one.
Nice.
Mine has flames on it. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, I
Also,
saw yours
too,
does have flame.
in the gas station, they had a stack of masks at the counter for sale, and there was like a limit on them, but they had like decent medical masks that are available for you to just purchase. So if anybody needs masks, the gas station on King Street in Spruce Grove, they got them. Also,
On my
too,
way.
the liquor store has at least 550 cases of Bud Light, so you can go over there as well too and get yourself some beer.
Yeah, they're
Well
stocking up.
stocked.
They
Well
think
stocked.
something's they think something's
Yeah.
coming.
My
Is,
neighborhood knows what's up. They're fucking ready for it.
Is Spruce Grove? Do you have is the East Side Mario's in Spruce Grove, or is that Stony Plain?
No, that's the Cheesecake Factory.
St.
now.
Albert.
There's definitely one in Spruce or Stony. I just always get them mixed.
No,
There's one
there
in
used to
St.
be-
Albert for sure.
Yeah,
there
definitely one in
used
St.
to be-
Albert.
There used to be one in Spruce Grove, but now it's a cheesecake place.
Oh, is that in like the last couple years? I think last summer I was definitely there.
Yeah, it would have been probably in the last couple of years
All right, I'm
because
not coming
I
up.
definitely
Never
would know
mind. Never
being.
mind. If I can't go to
away
East
for the
Side
past 4
Mario's,
years.
I'm not coming all the way. to
Hot take. Hot
Spruce.
take. I know everyone fucking goes bananas for oh my god, Olive Garden and their breadsticks.
Yeah.
Eastside Mar is 100 times better.
Oh,
100
I was
1,000
just
times
about
better.
I was just about to say, as a child, I remember going to Eastside Mario's for the first time ever, and I wanted to go back with my mother. Never took me, so I don't like her anymore ever since then.
Because they give you
But
that
the
delicious.
one
we
thing-
butter
haven't spoken
you put
since,
on there.
actually.
Yeah. That I specifically remember that garlic bread being fucking on point. It was
Yeah.
thick and it was garlicky, and yes,
And y-
Whittle, that butter was incredible.
Like a
Sometimes when you
loaf.
go to Olive Garden and you ask them for another plate of the bread, they give you the stink eye, whereas these Mario's don't give no fucks. They offer it, in fact. Can I get you some more bread? You're goddamn right you can, madam.
It's an entire loaf. They whip the butter. I worked at Eastside Mario's for a lot of years, and I got to tell you, I hated the amount of bread we had to serve. But as someone who now doesn't work there, fuck, that bread is good. Oh,
It's delicious.
Fuck, we should
A
go
tasty
Eastside
treat.
Mario's, boys.
yeah. It's kind of what I was
down for
getting
that.
at.
Little trip.
I'll do
to
a
fucking
little
St.
research.
Albert,
I'll
I'll
do
do
a little research. I don't think we have to go quite that far. I'll do a little
Hey, if
do a
you
little do a little
do-
searching.
If you do find that there is one in Spruce or Stony, then fucking we can go over there. Fucking get loaded up on breadsticks.
Yes.
I'll lay out some fucking blow up mattresses on the floor. Come back here and just fucking pass the fuck out.
Oh yes.
Just get drunk as shit at an Eastside Mario's.
Bread
Oh,
and
yeah.
wine. That's all I'm having.
Yeah.
That sounds like an incredible time. I'm all over that.
Would not be the first time I drunk off my gourd in an Eastside Mario's. Hopefully not the last.
In fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the first time you ever got really drunk was with Eastside Mario's crew.
Yes, but that was in a movie theater.
At the-
which,
yes, yeah.
Oh, way worse. Way worse.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights. That was a film, I believe.
Ooh,
Oh,
heck of a film.
banger.
Yeah, it was right. So that dates it. You can find the exact weekend that was because it
2000
just came out.
7, probably 8.
Let's see, because
No, maybe before that.
2006. So I'd have been 15,
Yeah.
14 or 15. That's not.
Fuck.
Yeah, for your first time trying booze, that's. I feel like that's
That's right, where I
fairly
was.
responsible. Yeah, that's probably most people.
That was mine too.
I think I tried it
That's-
later.
Grew up on the floor of a Senior Frogs.
Oh, gross. I threw up on the
Mhm.
back of my boss's wife's head.
Ooh, that's
Hell yes.
That'll hurt.
While you were doing her.
Mm,
Hey-oh!
no. While we were waiting for the movie to start, actually. Didn't even make it to the start of the
Theater, you
film.
just spewed on her.
Yeah, I was like looking for a
That's
cup. I
awesome.
remember like looking around like I need a cup. I need a cup right now. Too late.
Yep.
Yeah, and away she went. And then I passed out in the bathroom, and someone somehow got me home.
Good man.
It was a magical night.
God for the people.
That's why you need to always drink responsibly.
Always, yeah. But when it's your first time, you have no idea how responsible he is, and there's like a delay effect is the big thing, right? Because you have like, you have a couple beers, or you have a beer, say, for your first drink. You're like, well, I don't feel anything. I don't understand this alcohol thing. I better have another.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
before
it's
you
not
know
working.
it, you're just whoa, super cut.
Yes.
Video games, gentlemen. You want to talk about them?
Oh God, I didn't finish my news story.
I'd actually first like to remind everybody that this podcast is brought to you by the smooth, delicious taste of Fireball whiskey.
Light up your nights.
Stop it.
I mean,
And
time
it's our
for a
last
shot.
chance. We got to use them. Yeah, that's the shot alarm. That's the shot alarm. Is the ding one shot.
It's tremendous how much pressure you've put on. I
else
don't
do
know
we got here?
about Whittle, but specifically Brando and I, when it comes to doing those news stories, it feels like, oh man, I don't have a news story yet. My boss is going to be so mad at me. Like we're sitting there playing games. I'm like, oh fuck, I didn't get my news story yet.
No.
Brittle's laughing at me.
Don't worry. You'll hear
Like-
about it when we get the news. Don't you
No, I
worry,
have
Andy.
one. I have one,
It's
but yeah,
it's the
just-
closest thing to homework that I've had since
Yeah.
college.
We had an
Yeah.
assignment almost exactly like this, didn't we? As I'm pulling news every week, for some
In
reason I
college,
remember in
yeah.
college like having to
I
get
think
a
we had to
news
like come out
segment
with a
together
cast
or
or
something.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, segment. Yeah.
I
Oh,
totally.
like I just
That
ripped
sounds
and
familiar.
read.
Yeah,
I
usually.
don't think I
something about
ever. Yeah, those news. I remember they were always like, one thing you got to remember when you're doing news is don't run to the newsroom because you'll be out of breath. I don't think there was a single time that I wasn't in that jock lounge playing Smash Bros. And then when I knew I had 30 seconds to go on for news, I fucking just booked it over to that newsroom.
Yeah.
And Captain for
There'd always be
and-
somebody
and our-
yelling down that road.
and our
Right.
nightly news.
We need your news in 10 seconds. Okie
Yeah.
dokie.
In-
They'll
in gra-
wait. It'll
in gra-
happen when it happens.
in Grand Prairie when I was on air, my office was on the literal other side of the station, and I had to do office work between breaks. So I was often running like, oh, how long is this song? And you get in there, take one big breath. You're like, hey, that was blah blah blah. I'm blah 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 doing blah blah blah. All right, here we go. Next song, and then just like gasping for breath.
Yeah,
It was a
it's
good
supposed to be
time.
like a big no-no.
Good
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, you're really not supposed to.
No.
The
Maybe
college
they
days.
should have given me the fucking corner office with the windows then, is all I'm saying. Maybe they should give me the office closer to the on-air booth, if I got to be in there. But
Yeah, see,
here we are.
The great thing about my position now is that I can really focus on the show and never have to run back and forth because I just make other people do the work, and then I don't have to worry about running around. It's perfect.
That's right.
So
Everybody comes to you.
they're all
That's the boss man.
yeah, they're all scrambling, running out of breath during their shows and newscasts, and I'm just like, figure it out. Welcome to the industry.
Jeez. And he's like fucking cruel industry gatekeeper now.
Yep.
Hasn't even been doing that job.
Welcome to
either.
radio, bitch. Smarten the fuck up.
Shine my shoes.
Yeah. Gonna be doing
I
a
did tell
lot of
somebody
unpaid
today.
remotes.
I did tell somebody today before we sat down for like a little coaching session. I was just like, all right, I'm going to tell you right now, don't get discouraged. And then I just went right into it.
Just gave
Bless
it to
him.
him. Gave it to him.
Oh, yeah.
Attaboy.
Well,
Free
you-
business.
You gotta give the tough
they're learn,
criticisms, right? Them's
Yeah,
criticisms.
the interns come there to learn. They don't come
Yeah.
there to beat around the bush. I'm going to lay it out for them the way it is.
It's so
and also,
weird.
I don't want them there, so I hope that I hurt their feelings and they leave.
So weird that I'm just having that midlife crisis thing that like it's weird that we're all adults now. We were just in college yesterday, and now like Andy's the boss. Andy's an adult, I guess, is what I mean. Where did the time
that's
go?
that's the
Andy?
weird thing. You guys
Where'd the
are,
time go,
yeah,
bud?
like,
It's
You
true.
guys
Even
are
now,
all-
every now and then, I remember that Andy's in charge of other human beings, and it makes me laugh out loud.
I think I would love to have
God.
Andy as a PD. As an intern, if I had a PD who was not a huge piece of shit and was like Andy, I would honestly probably still be in the industry.
It's true.
But
Yeah,
maybe
I
Andy
do
is
make
a
an
huge
active-
piece of shit at work.
that's the thing is that you guys don't know whether or not I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It'd be tough. I feel like I've seen Andy at all spectrum level, like best, worst, everything in between. That I'd be very.
The thing I will say, and that it might be me being a braggart, I'm fair. I'm very fair as a boss. So like when it comes
Modest,
to mistakes
too.
and different things like that, yeah. Like, well, no, I'm not modest. I
I'm
tell
the,
people all
I'm the
time.
most modest, in fact.
I tell everybody, I'm just like, hey, when we're sitting down for these sessions, if there's something you disagree with, you're more than welcome to tell me. But I will pull the PD card on you if I just don't have time to like have a discussion with you about why you think something's wrong. There'll be just times I'm just like, just do that. Like I don't want to waste my time on this. But for the most part, though, I'm pretty chill. I'm relaxed. Unless people like it. The thing that gets me is when I go like multiple weeks with somebody not listening to me. Then I snap. Then I'm like, okay, do you just think if you just continue to not do this thing, I will just forget about it? No, that's not going to happen. You have to do this. Like, stop.
I think you'd be a Andy. I bet you are a fine boss.
Thanks.
I mean,
Eats.
no
I
big
think
ball.
if there's ever an opening, you should apply and work at the same station with Andy.
Yeah, you need any jocks, Andy.
I wouldn't. That would actually be an interesting situation. I don't know what I'd do. I'd be like, oh
What
shit.
do you mean? I would defer to your expertise, of course.
Like being, I don't know if I'd be comfortable with having
Would
one of my
plant
best
the
friends as.
seeds.
What do you mean? I mean,
my employee.
you've been in professional radio way longer than I have. Have I broadcast probably 10 times the amount of hours you have in your life?
And
Yeah,
already,
probably,
and
right?
already it's began.
I knew it.
Who's
I
to
had
say?
say
Who's to
one thing,
say, Andy?
sit
You know
back
what I'm
and
saying?
listen.
Who's to say what correct is? You know what I'm saying?
It's so it begins.
What is drunk? Really?
I'm a good employee.
What?
I do my
What?
work and then I just go home. I am a real talk. I'm a good employee and I don't like to talk
Punch
to
in,
anybody.
punch out.
I just like exactly. I like to punch in, punch out. You know, maybe you make a friend or two usually that you kind of hang out with.
Bare
while you work,
minimum
and-
effort. and fuck off.
Not bare minimum, but like, you know, I'm not the guy who's like hanging around the lunchroom after hours or whatever. Like, hey, what was everybody? There's always drama, and I find the easiest way to not be involved in any drama is to just kind of never speak to anybody. You know?
GTFO.
Yeah, just like, oh, shift's done, gotta run.
That's actually one of the things I'll always do. So that's a great attribute to have because I'll do that if I'm done. I just leave. But also, like I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, you need to stay here for 8 hours a day, unless you're an intern, then you have to. But like if the news guy has like had a good week and he's done everything I wanted him to, and like he's done for the day or something on a Thursday or Friday, I'm just like, just go. Like there's no point in sitting there and just staring at the computer. Like just get the fuck out of here. Like I don't.
That's a
like
good
what's the
boss
point,
there.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Well,
like-
there are like the old. If you have somebody who's been in the industry forever, right? Old man boss is very much like you're here until the second you stop getting paid.
Oh yeah, no, and
All
that's
right.
like that's such an old school way of thinking, and I mean, like our president is like that as well too. And if he found out I was doing what I'm doing, he'd probably be mad at me. But it makes for such better morale. Like you're getting paid to do the job. If you've done your job, fucking go. Like I don't care. Like I have like what do you can sit there and stare at the computer screen for 2 hours on a Friday? Get the fuck out of here. Like I don't care.
Here, Andy.
Then when you come back in on Monday, you'll be a little more motivated to knock it out of the park for me, right? So
Here.
yeah.
For the record, I'm a good employee. All right. Never been fired in my
Excellent.
life. Truly, honestly, never, ever, once, ever been fired in my life.
I mean,
Well, now that I have that
Never.
information,
Haven't
when
even
you work for
come
me,
close.
I'm
Haven't
going
even come
to look
close.
for the smallest excuse.
Every single job that I've ever left, I have. I was gonna say I've given 2 weeks notice. That's not always the case. I've always made the offer to give 2 weeks notice.
That's good.
Video
Stand up.
games, Andrew. Video games, my man. You play any? I got nothing on the sheet here from you.
Yeah, I told as I was talking with Brando about how I was scrambling to find a news story, I told him two things. One, that I was just going to not put the news story on the sheet and then just read it, and two, that I didn't play any video games and I wasn't going to write out that I didn't play any video games. Nothing too different, my friend. I did play a bit more of Splasher though, so there's that. There's a little bit that I have.
What's the Splasher update for this week?
I'm still really liking it. It's
Yeah.
you know, if you're like if you're somebody who's a hardcore platformer, you want like a super challenge when it comes to those games.
Yeah.
Probably not the game for you. Also too, not really a huge story, but it's, you know, it's only a couple bucks if you're looking for something to burn some time and, you know, kind of just a cute, fun little game. It's all right. I'm liking it. It's not one that I, you know, sit down and am itching to play every single day. But if I have like 10 or 20 minutes to burn, I'll fire it up and play a couple of levels. I'm liking it. It's fun. It's got some cool mechanics to it. So
You remember how much it was?
it was on sale for $5.99 when I got
hell
it,
yeah. That's
and
actually
I had enough coins, so I got it for like $1. It was a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it seems like a neat little game.
Yeah, it's all right. Like if you're looking to burn some time, it's not bad for that. But if you're looking for something with something to bite your teeth into, that's not the game then.
Splasher, which we talked about last week. Tune into last week's podcast for the breakdown on Splasher on the Switch.
Said you were
and
eyeballing.
PS4, I think.
Said you were maybe eyeballing the golf, Andy, on the Switch.
Oh yeah, that was one that I was looking at. Brando said he played it on mobile. Eads or Warren,
Mhm.
have you heard of this game yet?
Yes.
No, sir.
So I've
Came out
seen
with
about
Apple Arcade when Apple Arcade launched.
Yeah, so Brando might be able to kind of explain
Yeah,
it a little bit better than what
it's-
I've looked at, but
It's very much it's a very simple, like, kind of drag your finger across the screen for your, like, velocity and aim kind of mini golf thing. But then the kind of where the game gets fun is how it kind of plays with the rules of golf. Like, one time, and I don't want to spoil too much, so I'll kind of stick to the first few levels, but the first time you aim it, and you shoot it and it goes in the hole and it's like, oh, hole in one. And then the next hole you aim it, but like the aim thing goes flying towards the hole instead of the ball, or the like power meter does something weird,
Yeah,
or
like doesn't like the whole move or something on one of them, or it's always
Sometimes
like
the whole
crazy
moves,
unexpected
yeah.
shit.
yeah, and it's always one of those things where it's like you take a swing at the ball once at the very beginning, to kind of be like, oh, that's funny. That's a funny gimmick. And then you actually try and get the ball in once you know what the stupid thing is that this hole is doing. And there's like stars you can gather by like replaying holes with like where they'll kind of add the challenge. Like this time you have to do it in so many swings. And so it can vary from very easy but also funny to very challenging and frustrating. So
Yeah, that was gonna be my question. Is it like, is it a joke kind of thing where like, haha, these levels are so funny?
yeah, there's jokes littered throughout, but there's definitely ones where it's like, Like you go to a world where you're kind of hitting planet to planet, and you're kind of getting caught in the gravity of the planets. So you're like, okay, I got to hit it like straight up, but then the gravity of the planet's going to kind of curve it around here to the other planet. And the first time you see that, you're like, oh, that's funny. But then, like, by the last level of that little sequence, you're like, okay, this is actually a difficult game now.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
And
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so and my curiosity for it came from I think it just got released on Switch recently, but they really marketed it as though it's kind of like a couch game on Switch.
Yes.
So get all your buddies together and play it. So when Brando said it was on mobile, I was like, oh, that's kind of, I wonder, like, I'm curious to see if they added anything to it so that it is kind of like more of a couch game on the console, or what the deal is with it. But I'm always looking for those games to...
The version that I played seemed super weird. Like, I very much liked playing it in my car when I was sitting in a parking lot, or playing it on the toilet or something. It was not a game that I would ever consider wanting to, like, oh, I'm just going to sit down and play 2 hours of What the Golf today.
Yeah, fun to get in there for like a quick level or two.
Right, yeah, pop in, pop out. So it is weird that it's coming to the Switch, but like Andy said, if they're kind of saying like, oh, play it with your friends, then maybe they're adding some stuff to it that would maybe make that more fun.
Yeah, there must be something to that, because as it exists, there's no like real multiplayer to it, is there? There's no like pass and play.
There might be a pass and play. I mean, I would never have even looked at it because I was playing on my phone, but maybe there's some sort of like...
Is it scoring?
I do
you on
remember
holes?
actually...
Like, is there even any like multiplayer thing to do?
No, it's not like a stroke count. It's just like a, did you beat this one? Check mark. Did you beat this one with the 1-star difficulty modifier? Check mark. Did you beat this one? Like, it's kind of just like that. So it feels more like you, like, I don't know, like a Donkey Kong or a Mario, where both guys can go play through the level and you could take turns playing through the levels, but you're not really competing.
Oh yeah, weird.
I do remember there being a really neat feature in that one where it was like show a friend, where you could be anywhere in your progress, and then from the main menu hit like show a friend, and it would just give them this like kind of section of really cool levels, so that people would be like, oh, I get what this is, and then they can go buy it if they want, and it wouldn't affect your progress, which I thought was a really neat concept for a way to kind of be like, when you ever you tell someone, you try and explain a game to them like we do all the time, for me to be able to just hand them the phone and be like, here, play this for 5 minutes and you'll totally get kind of the arc of this game.
Like a demo mode almost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's neat.
Yes.
What's the golf?
I could see us playing that, getting drunk.
Yeah,
yes.
And that's kind of what I thought as well too. It might be fun with the fellas to play. So always looking for games like that. I want to go ahead and say, while we're on the topic of mobile games and golf, just quickly, one of the greatest mobile golf games in existence, and one of 2 mobile games that I actually liked, Super Stickman Golf.
I thought he was going to forget.
Super Stickman Golf.
Tremendous game. Very
Favorite
good.
golf
If you're looking, if you're looking for something to, well, no, my favorite golf game is Mario Golf. But if you're looking for just a fun mobile game that's super addicting, Super Stickman Golf.
I have. This isn't even a hot take. I have. This isn't even a take, I guess. The best version of Mario Golf to come out in the most recent years is Everybody's Golf on the PS4. It's Mario Golf to a fucking T. Pardon the pun. Let me say that one again. It's Mario Golf to a T. Thank you. It's very good. It's like, I think it's like $20 or $30 too. I think it only exists on the PS4, unfortunately. But it's dope. It is such a good golf game.
Can I eat?
And you said it is Mario Golf? Like it is...
It is just Mario
practically
Golf.
Mario Golf?
Without Mario.
Oh, that was going to be my question. Can I play as Mario?
No, you can
Not on
make
a
your own
PlayStation
characters,
4.
though. The character creator is very good. I golfed against Krillin at one point, and he kicked my ass.
Well, that
he must be bad.
Yeah, that's...
Check out our new Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan is out now as well. So Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan 2 just came up this morning. Go find them on the feed. Any other games, Andrew?
No, that's it for me for games.
How about Mr. Barris?
Hello. I talked about.
Oh god. Oh.
I mean, I played Apex. There's a new season in Apex just
Yeah,
started
5.
on
Hell
Tuesday.
yes.
New character.
Changed the
as
map
well,
a
right?
bit. New character. Oh no, that was last week, wasn't it? That wasn't even this week.
I think
Yeah.
that was
week
last
two.
No, I
week,
think
yeah.
we've talked about the
Yeah.
kind of ins and outs of the new season. We have
Yeah.
not talked about kind of our PvE experience so far.
Yeah, so they're doing. I don't. Did you explain that last week?
I didn't really understand it even last week, so we could probably do a better job now.
So there's these random drops, like treasure packs, I think they're called, or I don't know. They just drop out of loot bins exclusively that are random drops that you can pick up one a day. And as you get to certain number, I think the first one was 5, and they unlock a new story in this arc of story. They drop on Tuesdays as you get new challenges for the week, etc.
When you
that,
say they
like-
drop a story, like a cutscene?
Like
or-
it just unlocks. Nope. So it's like it just like
like a
totally
text story.
thing.
Yeah.
Of it.
Oh.
Like it shows their pictures of the people who are talking and
Sometimes little like voice emotes as they start talking, like a huh or
Yeah,
a
not
yeah,
fully voiced,
but
though.
not actually fully voiced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it's telling a story. I won't say it in case anybody wants to play it for whatever. It's kind of neat, but it just like there's definitely a story and like a mystery of like on the first, even like the free version of the story, like the intro, essentially it kind of like hooks and teases a thing of like somebody was listening and is trying to foil this plan. Who could it be? And like you're trying to unclock these clues to get this artifact. And the first thing that we did, because it's 5 days and then it unlocked this past Tuesday, was like a PvE thing where it's nighttime, like the Halloween mode that they had, nighttime on Kings Canyon map, where you kind of like there's these like dogs, like kind of like the dogs in Destiny a little bit, that run around and you kind of got to shoot them, and you only have a pistol and the Mozambique, and you got to get to a point and then kind of hold the point for a bit and then also escape on the dropship a la Titanfall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I?
It's,
Sorry, can I interject here quickly and just say that you saying
must.
the words "dogs from Destiny" brought back
I knew.
horrid nightmares.
Oh.
Knew somebody was going to bring
so-
that up.
Yeah.
Past
Don't get
Yeah.
Eads fired up, Andy. Leave
Yeah.
that
Sorry.
alone.
Sorry. I continue. Carry on. I just needed to say something.
they kind of look like them too.
Okay.
A
Sorry.
lot.
So the first, I'm hoping it gets harder because me and Warren played through the first one with 2 people, and you can have a squad of 3. I don't know if it scales or anything, but we played through 2 people and it was very easy. We never came close to dying. But it seemed like the way that they had kind of built it was really neat, where it's like Warren said, you start with a P2020 and a Mozambique, and then just gradually kind of like, oh, here's like the second best weapon for shotguns and light ammo, and oh, here's the best weapon with the mods, and like it seemed like they were smart about kind of like, we're going to give you the better guns as you go further, and not just have the random loot drops like it is in the battle royale game.
Yeah, like a
but,
little sense
yeah.
of progression almost throughout the match.
Right. But yeah, it seemed very easy, that first one. But so I'm gonna be disappointed if they're all about that hard. I would like it to be something that we maybe have to jump into a couple times before we beat it. But
And yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. Like it's such a side thing for me that I would rather just be able to get in there on a Tuesday, zip through it, and kind of be done with it until the next week.
Is it like, what do you get for doing it all though? Like I assume the story
There
is
is
not
rewards
the
at
thing
the
pulling
end if you
through.
complete it. Like there's loot that is attached to it that's like there's a weapon charm and like a mystery item, I guess, that you get that's
Yeah.
probably going to be a gun skin or a skin for whoever it ends up being revealed to be or whoever.
You feel
Yeah.
like it's so hard not to draw comparisons to Overwatch, obviously, which very similarly kind of metered out its lore through and this is going to come up again when I talk about Amazon's game Crucible in a little bit. Meter out their lore through like banter between characters and things, and then as they release new characters, they kind of built on it. Does it kind of feel like they're just sort of trying to do that?
it was very much the thing that made me like check the wiki about something that they said and then realize that they had a bunch of like lore written for all this stuff. Like all those characters have not just their background, but they kind of all attach to something that I remember hearing about in even when we were playing Titanfall, like the Hammond Robotics and stuff like that. And there's like the good robotics company and the bad tech company, and everyone's kind of a part of one of those or something different.
Simulacrums, like Ash. What was I think her name was Ash from Titanfall 2, and
yeah, and that's a Reaper, I think.
Yes,
a simulacrum. Yeah, or not Reaper, Revenant, the the undead guy.
Oops.
Yeah. Not to keep drawing comparisons, but yeah, it was kind of a like, oh, they have a whole bunch of stuff that they're drawing from that someone is writing the story for all this, and I never paid it any attention, really, even in Titanfall, let alone in Apex. And this is kind of just giving me that little bit of like when they say something like, oh, this lady knows about what's Caustic being on trial for his illegal experiments, and Caustic's like, oh, I'm innocent, and I'm like, I wonder what that's all about. He seems like the type to be on trial for illegal experiments. So it is kind of neat.
It is, and like you say, it is very similar with the Overwatch thing, and for me personally, very similar in that I don't really care, and it also doesn't really affect anything. It's just like it's there if you do care and you want to learn about that stuff and you want to learn more about these characters. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really affect what the core game is itself, right?
Yeah. So like how then, Warren, do you feel about this kind of story driven? Like you're going through all this rigmarole and doing these quests that you're gonna get a weapon charm at the end of the day. Like, does it feel a little flat? I'm just trying to get a sense of like how the story feels like part of the reward.
It's tough. It's tough right now because I mean, obviously, I've only done the one thing. We're only 1 week in, so we'll see how we get as we go farther. But I'm at least I'm interested in it for now, and for the most part. So like the problem that I think it's going to run into for me personally is that you need to continue getting these treasure chests because they cost X amount. The treasure drops, the packs that are in the loop-ins. In order to play the next part of these PvE events that come out weekly, you need the right amount that you can only get one per day. So you have to, it's kind of like an incentive to keep playing each day, which for me, I think what I'll fall into is similar to what's happened the last 2 seasons with this game, is where I kind of get to the max level of Battle Pass and then significantly fall off on playing time. So if I am not super into this thing, then I may never really play it all the way through and find out what that reveal is until it happens, and then it's, I guess, on the internet I could read it. But
yeah, on the good end, it seems like I think the longest I've ever played that game without getting a treasure pack is like 25 minutes.
It's true. Yeah,
like they deal about
one per week, right?
No, you get one per day. You need a certain, but you don't need one every day to keep pace with the story.
Yeah,
they're increments of 5.
Yeah, so you need to basically
10,
boot up the game and play for a few minutes, 5 out of 7 games.
I gotcha.
5 out of 7 days. If you want to kind of keep being ready when the story is doled out, be ready to take it. You can always go back and access that as you catch up with treasure chests, but the pace they seem to want you to kind of go at is play Apex 5 days a week at least.
It's really interesting
to kind of keep pace.
It's just so fascinating to me that they've like taken their story and made it almost in a way a part of their battle pass. Not really, because free players get that too, right? You don't have to buy the battle pass or anything to get the quests, or do you? That's all. That's all free.
I think that's
so it's not quite the same, but it's interesting. Interesting the different kind of avenues all these very, very similar games take to kind of differentiate themselves.
I like to picture a world where the 2 guys or the 3 guys or girls or however many they have hired, who are in charge of like writing the lore book for the Titanfall universe, are just like pumping their fist right now, being like, "Fuck, someone's gonna read this shit," or "This stuff's going to matter to someone," in a way that honestly. It seems like they had a bunch of this stuff written for Titanfall, and then they never made another Titanfall game, and don't seem like they're going to. So now they just have this big like lore book of different companies and factions and everything that they're like, we got to find a way to incorporate this into something.
Yeah. The ties to Titanfall actually are what, like, hearing it was when, oh, he's not Reaper, Revenant.
Yeah.
It was when Revenant came out, and people started talking like, oh, he's a simulacrum like Ash from Titanfall 2, and that was the faction I played in the multiplayer. It kind of got me interested in it. I'm like, oh shit, hang on, what even is Ash? What even is a simulacrum?
They had like the banners all around for Hammond Robotics all around the map that they were being and they renovated areas that had Hammond logos all over it and shit.
That's neat.
And it's stuff like, it's just little like voice lines, like you'll hear like stuff about how the electrical girl, what's her name? I can never remember her name. Something French. No.
That's no. It's what's the name of the Jeopardy robot?
Is that close though?
What's the name of the Jeopardy robot?
Watson.
Is that her name? I'm just typing Space
her name's
Lady
Watson.
Apex.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's Watson.
We got there.
Right?
It is the Jeopardy robot.
Yeah, there we made it.
Yep.
She says something like, "Oh yeah, my father built this machine that did all this damage," and I'm immediately like, I gotta know. I want to know more about this.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that happened. Yeah, it's the same thing that happens in like Overwatch, where like right before you actually start fighting, they're just throwing around voice lines where it's like, "Well, I haven't seen you since the battle at King's Row," and I'm like, "The fuck's a battle at King's Row? I'd like to know more about this. Let me just back out of this ranked game so I can go read."
This ties in beautifully. We'll just drop this here. Speaking of how many people that work on Respawn, on Apex, Respawn's opening a new studio in Vancouver just to work on Apex. So it sounds like it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's
CanCon, baby.
I'm sad that Titanfall is once again probably getting mothballed, but Apex is so fucking good.
Never say never.
Never say never. Yeah,
No,
you let Apex run its course, and then in a few years, I think you need to do something. I don't know what Titanfall 3 needs to be, but it cannot just be. Because Titanfall 2 is kind of more of Titanfall, but kind of better produced
with a
around
campaign.
with a campaign and but like I think if you're just like it's a fast shooter where you run on walls and can call down Titans, I think hits way less than
That's all I
did
need
at the time. I love Titanfall 2 especially. Even the campaign is so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw this in here now because this fits beautifully. I've played Apex's new. I've heard this before. 4v4. Well, I guess 4v4 is kind of different. 4v4 character-based hero shooter called Crucible, or Crucible, as I can't. For some reason, I can't say Crucible without putting the sh in the middle.
You do you.
Yeah. It just came out. Let's find out when. I'm gonna look this up right now. Actually.
I'm gonna just tell you right now. This was kind of my news story, so I'm gonna defer to you here, Matt Eads.
All right, I'll take this one from here, Brandon. Thanks for setting the stage, buddy.
All right.
Came out yesterday. Okay, great. Came out yesterday. It is a free-to-play game, but all the kind of business trappings you would expect are in. It is a character kind of hero-based shooter. You pick a hero before you even queue. You pick a hero, which is kind of interesting. Pardon me, and then it matches you in. I think there are. I'm not sure how many there are right now. 8. And I'm not sure how many there are. I've played 4 or 5 matches and used 2 different characters. But it's 4-on-4. The mode, there are a bunch of different modes. You choose the mode from the outset. It's not like Overwatch where you just say play and then it kind of like, oh, you're playing this mode or whatever. You choose a mode. The mode I was playing was called Hive Heart, I think, or Hive something. The objective of the game is to shoot these AI control hives, these hives that spawn these enemy aliens. So there's a little bit of PvE in there where you are fighting another team, but you are fighting them kind of only in the context that you need to beat them to this objective. Your heroes have a level. You start level 1. I think you end at level 6 maybe. As you level up, you are passively gaining increases. So like, level 2, my gun reloads faster. Level 3, the first 6 shots out of my gun do more damage or whatever. To earn that experience to level up, you are doing these PvE objectives around the map. It's a little bit like Evolve, where you are like shooting these aliens and they are dropping these EXP orbs. These kind of forget what they're called. Like they're like batteries or something drop, and you can get them, and you have to unlock them. They're chests basically. You get the chest and then take it to a place where it unlocks, and you get XP. And
Okay.
you're leveling up to, again, it seems like it just passively makes your abilities better. Everything about this game from top to bottom feels truly terrible. Truly terrible. I think I'm very confident this is a capital B bad video game that kind of is rushed out to capitalize on a lot of this, the Apex hype, the Warzone hype, the maybe Predator Hunting Grounds. I don't know how much hype there is for that, but it is very much...
Maybe everyone being indoors hype.
Yeah, it is very much feels like a game that's like, oh, these are popular, we gotta get this out yesterday. Technically, it's a fucking mess. Technically, it runs like complete shit. Absolute garbage. I have a extremely powerful PC, and even tried it on both. I have 2 different PCs. I have an AMD PC and an Intel PC, and sometimes that does weird shit, so I even tried it on both, just to make sure. I really did my homework this week. Runs like fucking garbage. Across the board. The quality of the matches, similarly, is absolute trash. Whether that's the engine or like network lag, I have no idea. But you're constantly hitching, teleporting all over the place. It feels terrible. Really terrible. Even when it's working, the gunplay feels truly terrible. So it is the closest model that I can kind of relate it to, the closest shooting model is Fortnite, where it is this kind of very big reticles, kind of very large spray, but in Fortnite, it is kind of this controlled shooting. It's loose, but you can control it, right, with sort of a higher skill level. And in Fortnite, it kind of works because people are, running or they're building. In this game, everybody has movement abilities. Everybody can teleport or fly or sprint or has some kind of get the fuck out ability. And everybody has a massive, massive hit pool. The time to kill is like, I don't know, 30 seconds maybe? Like if you and an enemy run into each other across the field, your health bars are so big and your movement abilities are so insane and damage applies in a way where you can see the damage on your bar, but it ticks down slowly over time. So you can have, if I have, say, 100 health, I can have 100 damage on me, but I'm not going to die for 15 seconds because it has to tick down. And it just, it leads to these...
sounds like a Lucio on Lucio fight, where it's just like everyone's healing at the same speed that they're attacking, and you're like, we could do this forever, but it's never going to end.
And it's not just with like specific characters because they can heal.
Right,
it's with literally everyone.
Sounds like
nothing about it feels good. It feels so rushed out. They make you sit through a tutorial, which, it makes sense. The tutorial doesn't teach you fucking shit. There are, just like Overwatch, you have 3 abilities. But no alt. You have your movement ability and then a Q and an E, or probably a right bumper, left bumper. And they make you go through this tutorial, which is like, it's, they teach you like, shoot the aliens, get the blue orbs, you level up. You're like, okay, great. And then they make you go through this incredibly long thing where you are sitting there for like, there's like a 2-minute section where you just sit in an empty room. I thought it bugged out. I thought it like a prompt didn't show up or something. But you just sit in this empty room and listen to these recordings as they dole out their story to you in a very kind of Overwatch or like we were discussing, an Apex fashion, where they like kind of give you the middle piece of it, this sort of just event that they refer to obliquely, and you're supposed to, I think, be like, oh, that's really interesting. What does that mean? But when you're just forced to sit there...
You're never going to have the whole story. You always have to go look. It's just meant to, like, pique your interest, so you go look for shit.
Totally. But it's so unearned in this game. Like, Overwatch has had years to build that kind of slow burn. It's totally unearned in Crucible, and it's long. You sit through this thing, and it's something about, like... it's when you see aliens in this recording where, like, oh, they killed everyone. We're calling Crucible Station. These things killed everyone. And then my character is like, what the hell was that? And this AI voice is like, that was a recording. The justification is, you weren't supposed to hear that. You've been subpoenaed as a witness now. Like, okay, what the fuck? And then that's it. And then you're in the game. And like, they talk to each other very obliquely, like they kind of do in Overwatch. But again, the things they're saying just completely unearned in a way that it very much feels like it's trying to ride the coattails of these more popular games. And it very, very much feels like it is not ready for public play. It runs so terribly. But you can get in there and spend money if you want. You sure can buy skins. That best value thing is right on the front fucking page when you launch it up. So if you want to get in there and buy some currency, you absolutely can.
Yeah, because it's pretty much all cosmetic payments and battle
I think
pass
so.
payments,
Yes,
right?
it seemed to be cosmetics and battle pass. The battle pass seemed to be cosmetics as well. I snooped around a bit and
Right.
abilities and things you're not unlocking.
Right.
And you
Which
have,
I'm
like, a
always fine
limited-
with in a free to pay or free to play.
Yeah, but it seems like you do have all the game affecting content, which is good.
Mhm.
But playing the game is not. I think it is
It's
bad.
not fun.
I think it is so bad. The Steam reviews kind of reflect that. There is this notion that, like, so it's an early access on Steam. Fuck off, Amazon. You are literally the richest company, the world's first trillionaire. Like, this early access, we're charged. You can spend $99 for best value in currency, but it's an early access. Well, we, get the things like the gameplay phase. Fuck off. Every game in Steam is on early access. That's just a thing you put on your game now to like give yourself an out. Oh, I misspeak. It is not tagged as early access. All right, interesting.
Oh.
So they do not even have that leg to stand on. But that is still kind of the primary defense of people being like, well, it's free to play and it's it's early access. It just came out and it'll probably get better. But I don't know. I think it sucks. I think it is bad. I think it is truly not worth your time. But it is free, so you can go check it out if you want. Oh, the last thing I'll kind of say on it is the PvE stuff. Every single in Evolve there were like different enemy types, very very different aliens you were fighting. Where I remember there's one that like made a big like dome of energy you had to run away from, and they were like little mini bosses.
It's Evolve?
Yeah, is that not Evolve?
Evolve.
Like the horse,
Yeah,
or there's like a horse alien.
I remember the plant would eat you in Evolve.
Yeah, there were plants. There were like big monsters you had to fight as a team they would gobble you up. Remember one would like eat you and you had to shoot it to get the guy out. He was stuck inside unless his teammates helped him.
I thought that was the plant. And this sounds
Plant
like
would do
Gears
that,
of
yeah.
War, but I'm
Gears of
getting
War,
very mixed up maybe with my video games. I don't
Yeah,
remember
maybe
like a
so
lot
am I.
of PvE elements in Evolve.
There were definitely because the idea was you killed them so the monster couldn't eat them.
Yeah, there were because the monster.
And I remember
Yeah,
those
there were
like
some
dinosaurs
smaller
with the
monsters,
crests
little
on their
guys.
head. I'm pretty sure
Yeah, I
would give
do
off
kinda
little
remember that
little like
now.
flashbang spheres, little electrical spheres or something. Anyways,
Maybe you're right. I'm not confident enough in my.
every single PvE encounter in this game is hold backwards on the keyboard, just run backwards and just shoot nonstop. You have unlimited ammo like Overwatch.
Yep.
And so every time you run into an enemy, all they do is walk towards you slightly slower than you can move. Sometimes they fly. Sometimes you have to aim up. But you just walk backwards and you just hold down fire. Like nothing in this game feels thought out or fun or interesting to engage with. I do not care for it at all. It's very MOBA-esque. You're capturing these resource points around the map to give you more XP and stuff. I think it sucks. I think it's a game with no identity.
Yeah, it feels like a even worse version of some of the Stadia mishaps where it was just like, what? This isn't your thing, and this all seems half-baked. And I understand that you think that there's a market that is growing for online gaming that really rich companies want to get into, but I think it's more than just like, we just put out a game.
Yeah.
Look
and
at it, we're done.
they bill it as their first big budget game, which like I just don't understand how this game even came out. I guess like you gotta put it out and make money at some point, but for your first showing from this Amazon game studio, new engine that you've been working, this Lumberyard engine and all this you've been working on, big oof. Developed by Relentless Studio here, Seattle-based development team. It's no.
Fuck 'em.
I don't like it.
That's a shame.
That's Crucible. Whittle, what I sort of hijacked you then? Tell me about Jedi Fallen Order. How's not New Game Plus? What's it called? New
Journey Plus.
New Journey Plus.
It's speaking of games that are broken.
Oh,
I'm surprised that game still runs as poorly as it does. It's kind of disappointing, especially considering I was afraid to bring this up because one of us in this podcast has not played it yet, but it still has its like crazy hitches, and if there's a lot of enemies, it fucking just goes down frame rate through the shitter, and
That sucks.
Yeah.
That super sucks.
super disappointing. But that said, I mean, it is kind of cool to have the skins and everything else unlocked at the start. Like it, but also weird, as I told Rando. Like, so one of the main skins, well, the only actual skin that you get, is an Inquisitor skin. And so I immediately put that on because it's just something different. I've never seen it before,
It's
whatever.
like,
And he's got the Inquisitor on.
This is like black stormtrooper armor, kind of. Like armor, right?
Not really.
It's like
he just
the-
looks like the rest of the Inquisitors that are in the game.
Yeah, like the.
What's his name? Cal Lightsaber.
Yeah, that's the one. Like the girl was an Inquisitor, right? That you fight. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
So that first, this is not a spoiler, but that first moment when Cal busts out his lightsaber on that first planet that you're on, and then you escape from, when she's like, "People are gonna start dying if the Jedi doesn't reveal himself," and then he pulls out his lightsaber to stop her from killing the first person, and it's a red lightsaber, and I was like, "Well, that's fucking stupid."
Yeah.
And she
You
even is
can-
like, the dialogue is like, "What's this? A lightsaber?" And I'm like, "It's fucking red. Like, wouldn't you be
Yeah.
like,
Maybe he's
oh,
still
you're
of
on
a
my
Sith.
team?
Maybe
Cool."
anyone can have a red lightsaber.
Okay, settle down there, Qui-Gon.
Right.
It's all right. I don't know. It's still a good game. I enjoyed it, but yes, there
Stop
it is.
it.
Can't.
I can't. I like Saw
I have
Gerrera in that game. I like that you see Saw Gerrera for like a little bit on the window.
It's hanging
of-
out on
what the
top
fuck is
on
it?
the-
That ATST or
AT-AT?
whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking grapple hooks away. Later.
I have to go.
Yeah, well, I just love that he like pokes in there and he like kind of sits there for a second. He goes, "Who are you?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are
Who the
you?
fuck are you? You're on my fucking window, you jackass."
Yeah. It felt like such a dumb, like, we want to tie this in. We want to kind of ground where you are in the universe, but also I was fucking eating it up when he showed up. I was
Oh,
like,
so
oh,
100%.
oh.
Other than that, I have no other real takes on that game. It's still like, I don't know. It's still cool to get a lightsaber and
Yeah.
fuck around for a bit.
love
I'm really
think about that game a
struggling
lot.
with, and I know I'm the one who has not played that game yet.
Here comes the
anytime
real hot take.
Anytime I hear anything having to do with even a slight amount of performance issues with a game, it instantly turns me off of wanting to play it. Like even when Brando was talking about that second Ori, and I was like, "Oh man, like it's hitching when you're like moving around. That's
But, like-
frustrating." The reason I played it is because I played the first Ori, so I was like, "Okay, I gotta dive into it." But I hear you guys talk about this, and I'm like, "Fuck!" Like all I want to do is I want to play a Star Wars game that everybody just says it's fucking on fire. Like I just want that game. I don't want to
Well, that's
hear in
the
the
problem,
conversation,
though.
"Oh, there's these small performance issues about," because you're saying that, "Oh, it's cool to hold a lightsaber." I don't understand why that needs to be where I set the bar with these Star Wars games. Why is me setting the bar at, "Oh, it's neat that I actually get to play as a Jedi. That's fun." Why in this day and age of video games is that is that the thing I need to settle for? Why are we not
I
getting
will-
a fucking Star Wars game that is on fire? Like that's what I want. I don't want to hear
To
about all these
go-
on
performances.
fire in
that's
the
the
good
thing,
way, not
everyone-
on fire
yeah.
like Crucible is on fire.
Right.
Everyone wants a different thing out of their Star Wars game, though, right? That's why it's never going to happen that everyone's
Well-
going to unanimously agree. Well, of any video game, I guess. Be
And we
like,
just
well, no,
haven't
but I
had
just-
This is the
Star
greatest
Wars
game.
games in so long, right? EA sat on the license and then made like 4 or
Yeah.
5 games that all got canceled. We just haven't. The
And
reason
that's-
it's kind of the standard was like you have to be a Jedi is because it's been since like what Force Unleashed since we've
Mhm.
kind of had a game where you play as a lightsaber wielding Force user.
And
But
that's
why is-
a part of the biggest problem is the 2 letters EA, right? That's been the biggest problem as to why we have to settle for this. It's because, well, it's the best we can get because they have the license.
Yes. One of the. So for starters, I would like to say, what you're wanting out of Star Wars video games, Andy, I've kind of been wanting out of video games for the last 2 years, and it feels like very few video games don't have some sort of like, well, it runs like shit in this one exact way.
Yeah.
Like I'm looking at some of my favorite games of last year, and all of them, like Control. I love Control. I would always tell people, like, "Oh, you should play Control. Control's a fucking really cool video game." But I would also always say, also doesn't run very well.
Mhm.
And I said the same thing to you about Ori. It kind of doesn't run very well, especially when you're kind of pausing and using the map and stuff. But a lot of these games, and I think Ori's one of them, I think Control's one of them, and I think Jedi is one of them where it's like, it sucks that it's like that, but like when I get, like now that I'm through Jedi, I'm like, fuck, that was one of my favorite 5 games of last year.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also
It's annoying at the time, it sucks, and I totally think video games should be held accountable to the point that not so many of them come out running like shit. But for the last 2 years, I've been playing a lot of good games that run like shit, and I still look back at them and be like, oh, those are really cool games.
Andy is someone who is very much bothered by performance. I think much like you are. You know, that kind of it's a really shitty cop out of like, you know, get a PC kind of. We're right here at the end of consoles where the games kind of always run. Well, usually actually games run pretty well at the end of a console life cycle. But now that consoles are basically just PCs, and especially with the half step with the PS4 Pros and the Xbox One X's, there's like even less attention is paid to the base level. How do these run on the base level consoles? Because you know that they're going to have a version for the new consoles next year. If not at launch, I would be shocked if they did not have Xbox One X version and PS5 versions of Jedi at launch. Same with Control.
Mm-hmm.
It very much felt like a game that was made for next gen, and hey, we kind of got it to work okay on these consoles.
Yeah, me and Warren are also playing all this stuff on base level Xboxes, which I'm sure plays a part of it.
But I very much think
like,
that
there
the spec should
there
be
are
the
performance
base
issues.
level, not like, well, it runs at 5 frames a second on the base, but it runs at 30 on the One X. Like, fuck that. That is...
Yeah.
At that point, it should be its own console. At that point, it should be its own separate thing, not like everybody who didn't pay the upgrade cost get fucked.
We know enough about video game companies that sometimes they're like, well, we can make this run right on the best hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is a lot of video game companies. That's what we get. So if that's the baseline, it's like, well, make sure that it runs right on the best hardware. That it feels like then means maybe it doesn't run so right on the other ones.
Yeah. It's frig.
Because they just push it. They just push, like, they just push it and push it and push it. And instead of getting rid of some of the shine, they sacrifice performance.
Yeah.
And they do that a lot. They did that. Control is probably the number one offender for, fuck, this game looks incredible as long as I'm not moving.
Yeah, even on PC, Control runs like balls. Control is, I don't know if it's poorly optimized or what, but it runs.
And you still look back on Control like
one of the favorite games.
One of the best games of the
so
game.
good.
Yeah, of that year. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, I don't know. Jedi's okay.
And just for comparison's sake, going back to Andy not wanting to play this game, based on the 4 hours or 3 hours, whatever I put in over the weekend of playing this, whatever New Journey Plus, it still runs better than Control did for me.
Yeah, Control is like, I think, one of the all-time worst offenders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I would bet you hard money, Andy, there will be a new version for you. New console.
Also, I think Jedi's dope. I think it's worth playing with the performance issues.
Oh yeah, the story
Like,
is incredible.
It probably
such
looks
a
so
good
much worse for
Star
Warren
Wars
too, because
story.
he's been through it.
You should almost there's like a kind of a risk of getting spoiled on it in a way that, like they say, it's a very good Star Wars story.
All right. Well, I do like a good Star Wars story, and yeah, that's. If it's gonna, yeah, well, maybe I'll dive in. Is it any better on PC? Like, is that even on PC?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It ran okay for me on PC, but I shoot me a text after this.
All right.
I'm gonna have a code kicking around.
All right.
Anybody else got any game? Oh, I play a little more Red Dead roleplay stuff. And that thing is fucking wild. Holy smokes. I spent a bunch more hours in the role playing, the 5M mods. It's called Red M for Red Dead. I'm not really going to recount too much of it here again, I don't think. The VODs are up on our YouTube, Talking Reckless, or you can find them on the Twitch. It is wild shit where, like...
It is.
I cannot believe how into role-playing some of these people are. It feels weird meeting people who are, like, prepared to go 100% and, like, really what's the way to put it? Like I'm not in Red Dead RP to make myself have a good time. I'm kind of there to like support other people's good time in a way. I'm just a background character, you know what I'm saying? And if I play a really convincing background character, fuck, do I find that satisfying. And everybody has that mentality in a way that it is amazing and like hard to describe.
It's also like, as somebody who's not super into role playing myself, not that I've really tried it ever seriously, but it's a great thing to tune in to your stream and watch as well, because I mean, you're super committed to it and you do a very good job of it with the voice and everything. But like, I happen to pop in and you're talking to a guy who's talking about like fucking time travel and shit.
I met a time traveler.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, this dude rode into the side of a barn," and like, okay, cool.
Oh
like,
my
it's just
God.
it's fucking
Yeah.
It's so great.
We were that is the one story I brought this week was met a man who I don't even remember what we were talking. I'm the bartender in Valentine, as long as there's nobody else there. If there is, I kind of hop around. But, you know, part of being the bartender is people kind of roll in, tell you their steal, hey, get you something to drink or smoke, and, you know, they tell you their story. And I don't remember how we got to it. This one guy was like, oh, I got a cabin up by Strawberry. Why don't you come see this cabin? It's pretty cool. I'm like, sure. You know, I'm tired of just doing nothing at the bar. Let's go check it out. So we rode all around. He kept looking at his map, and we rode to a cabin. He's like, shit, this isn't it. Maybe it's this one. And so we rode to another one, and it's just this wide open spot in a field. And he's like, I'm sure this fucking house is around here somewhere. And so immediately I'm like, oh, this guy's luring me into the middle of nowhere to murder me. But we eventually did. So we eventually did find his cabin after like 45 minutes of just roaming around. And then as we're getting up to it, his horse trips on the fence and he goes headfirst into the side of the cabin and dies. And like
yes.
character dies in game, you know, for the role playing aspect of it, he was knocked unconscious, but that means I have to drag him back to a doctor. So I have to go back to Valentine, where we just came from, and fucking drop this dude off. And then met him the next day. So the next day after, he found me again, which like made that world feel real in a way that I'm like, oh fuck, these people like live here.
Yeah.
And we got back out to his cabin. And so it is the cabin from the single player. It's just to the west of Strawberry. There's like a crazy like drawing that shows like New York City and alien, like scenes from GTA and like other Rockstar games, and like shows shit from the future.
A side quest. It was a question mark mission.
Yeah, show you, like the pyramids and stuff. But there's a man coming out of the middle. Like there's a man in the center of it who has a little like mustache, and is the spitting fucking image of my in-game character of Jeremiah Rent. The like dead ringer for it. So this guy brings me this cabin and is like, I think there's a prophecy. I think it might be about about us. And I'm like looking at this thing, I'm like, oh fuck, I think you're right. And like, so this dude tells me how he's a time traveler from a far off land who got into a horse accident and had like some physical implant he had, got physically moved into another person in this graphic horse accident, like all this shit, a whole like 2-hour story about how he adulterated some man's wife, and it was crazy. And that's kind of where we left it. You know, we just went back to the bar, and well, he asked me to help him kidnap this kid. He's like, I got to kidnap this kid. I'm going to cut his head open, and I'm going to get the implant out. And I'm like, you know, it's kind of a crossroads where you're like, well, sitting at the bar is pretty boring. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm in. I think I'm by. I think I might be the chosen one of this prophecy. Let's fucking do this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we've left things. So if you want to tune in for some Red Dead roleplay, I have joined a murder cult. The Starfather sends his blessings upon me and my good friend
Yes,
Emmett
the Starfather.
McDuff or whatever. It's wild. It's fucking wild. And then on the other side of that coin, I just sat in the bar with this, I don't know if he was actually Irish, but sounded Irish, with this Irish man just talking about the old country and like the weather for like 45 minutes in a way that was like just two people chit-chatting, you know, over the drink. It's crazy. It is fucking crazy. I really, really like it. Come and join us for that. Some of that on the channel. Let's take a quick break here, boys, if anybody has, if nobody has anything else.
I have a very quick one.
Do it.
I finished up to the end of the Mako 1 reactor in Final Fantasy 7.
Oh shit! Like right at
Yeah.
the is that the very kind of opening part?
Like they kind of through the first boss fight
Yeah.
there.
Did you ever play the demo? I think that part was the demo.
No,
You fight the
no,
scorpion
I
tank
didn't.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, the scorpion tank was the last thing I did, and then I watched a quick cutscene after. But yeah, so only like it might have only been an hour, maybe,
Hell yeah.
maybe a little more. I'm not sure.
Getting in there, though.
Yeah, it obviously looks beautiful. I'm already confident that I don't enjoy the combat, even in that first boss fight, where I was like, I'm like, there's something broken in my brain about the using square to attack, but then using X to like do better attacks,
Abilities.
but also but also having your items and stuff on X. And
There's also a
then
menu you can
triangle.
open up, and
Yeah, and then triangle's like a stance modifier for
and
Cloud.
everybody's stance modifier is different. Every character you play has a different
Yeah.
stance modifier.
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff, I'm like, wow, this seems like this is going to be a game that probably gets turned down to easy, and so I can just enjoy the story, like you said. But I'm waiting to run into the wall.
I did. It took me pretty long actually to hit the wall. There was kind of a like you. I initially did not get it. Did not. I hated
Yeah.
it, and I kind of started to get the hang of it. And I'm like, okay, I sort of see this. It's not great, but I sort of see it. And then
I
there was
did
a boss
die on
fight,
the
like,
first
late in.
boss.
So did I. Yeah, I totally
Yeah.
did. The first time I did in the demo, I died like 5 times, and then it just sort of clicked in a way. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if
yeah,
it ever clicked for me or if I just took more potions, but
It is unoffensive on easy. And also, I ended
Yeah.
the game with over like 500 potions because I had a million of them all the time.
oh yes.
I'm very excited for you to get through that game, though. Sorry, Andy.
No, it's okay. It's kind of I'm taken away from just the Final Fantasy talk if I say this statement, but that's 2 video games now that apparently I need to play that are only good for playing just for the story, and that really makes me sad because I really want to play that Final Fantasy, but if the combat's not good, I don't think I have any interest in touching it.
Yeah, but Eads has
Fair
been
enough.
saying that for weeks now.
I know,
In
and I've
fairness.
had that.
Yeah.
I've had that opinion for weeks, but now, especially since you're hopping on board, because just sometimes Eads just doesn't like stuff just for the sake of not liking it. It seems like.
Yeah.
I was
now that you're saying that.
as your joke. I was going to even bring up that my I'm not contrarian. I don't have a need to be contrary, but my opinions do often run counter to culture.
Yeah,
I
and
maintain
that's
Doom Eternal
okay.
is shitty. I don't know what we're even talking about here.
I mean, I don't know that. Like, I feel like it's not that. Like, if a lot of people think a game is shitty, you still think that game's shitty. I don't think it's like contrary to
Sometimes.
popular demand.
Sometimes.
I think you have a more negative skew in general on video games, or a
Yeah,
higher standard.
I really like Oster's Wrath.
Well,
I
it's
guess that'll be
because
the
you're
game
not
I'll
a
play.
dummy.
Known bad video game. No, I don't know. I definitely do
There's
have a
nothing
higher
wrong
standard.
with liking one of the greatest.
I
stories of
definitely
all
do have a
time.
higher standard, but that comes from playing every video game.
Yeah, and
but I mean, like,
I joke,
Go
but
ahead,
I
Andy.
do. I was gonna say, like, I joke, but I do respect your opinion. But to hear 2 people now say about Final Fantasy that the combat is shaky, like that's kind of the thing I wanted out of that game. Like, I don't really just want to play it for a story. Like, I
As
need
someone
a
who
little bit of
likes
everything.
Dragon Ball, you might really like Final Fantasy VII. I should lend you my PS4. If I got nothing going on the PS4, which I think I might not. Oh, I guess after Ghosts and Last of Us,
like,
I'll lend you my PS4
Andy-
for a bit, Andy, and you can crush all these Final
At
Fantasy.
least give it a
and all that
try.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
you like Last of Us though. You said you really liked, right?
I did. Last of Us was good.
Yeah, like I think like there are games that sometimes the story is the pull and the gameplay is like this is not awful, but it's not like this is not a fun tight shooter.
Yeah. I don't think it's
But if-
awful in Final Fantasy VII, to be clear.
No, me neither. Like I'm just saying it's not like
It's frustrating.
like
in some parts.
as 2 people who've played Sekiro, which is kind of like a gold standard for combat. This is not Sekiro. This is like this is okay. This is
there are
I think
no-
this is better than Kingdom Hearts. I'll tell you that much.
It's close. There are no iframes in. If you are like in a spellcasting animation, some of them are fucking long in Final Fantasy VII. You could always take damage. You could die in the middle of that fucking spell.
Yeah, and honestly, for some people, if you didn't have me and Eads like saying that stuff, you might like play that game and be like, this is how a video game should be. You should be able to get knocked out of these spells. Like, there people that want different things. Some people think the Kingdom Hearts combat is great. Seriously, that's a real thing.
My,
Okay.
Can't hit a man
Okay.
with a Mr. Meeseeks.
And
That's
that
not
is
Mr.
where I
Meeseeks,
take my
Andy.
leave.
That's That's Mr. PBH.
Oh, right, you're right too.
He's teaching.
Yeah,
He
that's-
teaches African women's studies. I forget the university he works at.
I'm certain that those are the same voice though for both those
They're
characters.
all
Okay.
what's
No,
his
let's
face?
not spend. No.
We're
It's a
not
great
gonna
show.
go there.
It's better.
Yeah,
It's better
so-
than Clone Wars. Let's just get it
Anyways, with Final Fantasy, yeah, I think that just like I really like RPG games. So when I hear that the combat in an RPG game is not good, then that's kind of what deters me from that. So that's kind of the problem I have with it. Just if you guys are saying that's good, that's kind of thing I'd go there for. That's what I like.
I
like-
totally think
I like
Final
those battle
Fantasy
strats.
VII is worth it in spite of the combat.
Yeah. Well, and that's the tough thing when you're trying to recommend something to someone is like even with Jedi Fallen Order, like this seems like Jedi Fallen Order was a good game. Final Fantasy seems like a very good game. Most video games have something about them where it's like, well, this could be a little bit better.
Yeah.
And you don't want to don't hang your entire decision on the worst part of a game. Hang it on the sum of the game.
Well,
Here,
Here.
well
The
said.
sum
Well,
the sum total of all the parts. I mean,
Final-
not sum of.
I am super stoked for you to get through Final Fantasy VII at some point, and then maybe you, me, Kev can come together and have a little spoiler cast or something, because some fucking shit goes down throughout that game.
Oh yes,
Some anime, some Kaiokai times 20 type shit. Can we go for a quick break here, boys? If nobody has anything else, let's do it. Let's go for a quick break and grab drinks, whatever we need to do, use the restroom. We'll see you here on the other side of this musical break.
Is this the guy that didn't hear me when I asked him to move at that
Yes.
breakfast thing?
He's the only one old enough to not hear anything.
I walked up to, there's like, he was doing this press conference in a bar, and we were kind of like on this top part just off of the main floor, and I had to slide by him to go get some coffee, and I asked him 3 times in a row, just, excuse me, I just gotta get by here. Sorry, I just gotta get by here. And I was like, put my hand out and everything, and he fucking did not move. I had to walk in front of everybody's cameras and go around the other side to go get a cup of coffee.
Push that old man down, and he's probably frail.
Fuck, I was mad. I was like,
Knock him over.
seriously? At first I thought that he just thought I was, because he was like listening to Brett talk about something. I thought maybe he was just like fucking ignoring me because he thought he was CTV, and fuck this guy from the one. So I was so mad at him. And then
It wasn't
Miranda was
like,
just "Ah, he's
it wasn't
partially
like
deaf."
a scrum, was it? Like it
No,
wasn't
it
like
had-
they were interviewing Brett at the time. Because if
No,
so,
it
I
had-
wouldn't move either.
No, and I totally get that. But it hadn't started yet. It was just still
no friends
like,
in the
yeah,
scrum.
yeah. It was
Doubles up.
just like I don't know what he expected, what he thought I was going to do, but
He honestly
yeah,
probably didn't hear you. He's a very nice guy. He's the kind of guy that even in a scrum, he probably would have tried to like shuffle over so you could get in.
yeah, it was just weird. I was,
But not
sad.
so
I
nice.
was like,
I won't
I
try
wish-
and fucking shiv him in the back.
I mean, the whole time I was there, I was just like, man, I just wish this was Brittle right now. Why couldn't this just be Brittle? I would have had my coffee. I could have hang out with Brittle.
Brittle to speared you. Oh, you want me to
Well, I would-
boom?
I would have been okay with that. That honestly would have been more exciting and more.
That's you,
enjoyable
Andy.
than that movie.
You're done. He just took you out in the
We're
scrum.
done. How'd that feel?
Good time.
And your career
And
looking at the
still
lights.
reigning champion, Brittle.
Just Brittle.
This is his theme, both together.
My take on the Roman Reigns.
Oh, gentlemen, let's come back here, do some news.
Yes.
Short news week this week, and we kind of cannibalized some of it for the first section of the show. Boy, oh boy, what do I got here in my tickle trunk this week? Doom Eternal has
A bad video game.
known bad video game. Doom Eternal adds known bad anti-cheat software de novo. A patch came out-
Actually known bad.
Yeah, actually known bad. Very well known bad. Patch came out early last week. They patched it in, saying they're going to crack down on multiplayer cheating. I don't know who's playing the Doom Eternal multiplayer, but apparently enough people that cheating is a problem. And so they patched it in. Everybody went, oh, and they patched it back out. So it's gone. Exact same thing happened with Rage 2, also out of id Software, where they put it out, patched in Denuvo, and then a few days later, after everybody lost their shit, patched it back out. Denuvo is brutal because it is this. I mean, I'm not a technomancer. I'm not a computer wizard. But it uses a lot of system resources, and games like specifically Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Denuvo uses as much CPU power, more in some cases, than the game itself uses, which makes it run like fucking balls. Because this anti-cheat software in this not multiplayer game, this thing that it has microtransactions, which is the reason it's in there, because they don't want you to cheat their system. So they sacrifice their performance to preserve their fucking microtransactions. Somebody is writing notes live here.
As you do. Continue.
Yeah, it's Denuvo's a bunch of shit, and every game it's in inevitably gets patched out, or maybe it doesn't like Assassin's Creed and it just runs bad forever. But that's that.
Which Assassin's Creed was this?
I know for sure. I believe it's in Origins. I don't remember having quite the problem I had with Origins.
I was gonna
Odyssey.
say, I don't remember technical problems being an issue with Origins.
So Denuvo's only
Not
on
to say
PC.
they weren't, but
Denuvo only exists on PC.
oh
no, no
yes,
Denuvo
you're
on
right.
consoles.
And I knew that, and I'm an idiot.
Stupid.
Yes.
That Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster. This is not even really a news story, but did you guys know? I know this came out, I think, when the remaster came out. You know they're going to have aged skaters? They're like scanning Tony Hawk today. This
Yeah,
would be
that's
old
funny.
Tony Hawk, which is so fucking
Yeah.
dope.
That's great. Someone over there seems to be making all the right calls in regards to this game.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm super stoked to see old fogies on their skateboards. What else do I got here? These are really just headlines. There's a Serious Sam 4 in the world, apparently. Stadia and Steam exclusive. Console is coming next year. The world need a Serious Sam 4? I'm going to give a quick
No.
Google the Serious Sam 4.
My take is no.
I'll take no.
I
Not-
have this theory that almost no video game needs a Game Pass 3.
Let me tell you about Metal Gear 4. It's pretty good. Metal 4,
Not
pretty
saying
good. Resident
not
Evil
saying
4.
There haven't been some.
Resident Evil, I think, needed. I mean, I think Resident Evil was pretty well received when it came out back in the day.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was-
there's some good ones. There bound to be some good ones.
You're not wrong. A lot more bad ones. A lot more that maybe should have been axed. Really no information on this Serious Sam 4. It's just such a weird announcement. Like, oh shit, who... They must think it can make money. They must think it's going to be profitable. Who is like holding their breath for a Serious Sam 4? I don't know.
Sounds like an Andy game.
Sounds like an Andy game. Got bombed.
He looks like a bro.
Serious Sam? Yeah, he's definitely a bro. He's definitely a bro. It's got people who have no heads, but hands for bombs, and they run at you, and they go, "Wah!" and then they explode. And it's very upsetting when that happens.
That sounds
Back
like
Right
Right
up
those,
Andy's alley.
That sounds like those assholes in Halo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Kind of.
Yeah. Grenades.
Except
Like
what
the
if instead
grunts
of
with the
yeah,
grenades?
what if
Yeah.
instead of grenades in their hands,
They had
their hands
grenades.
were grenades?
I mean, either way,
Very scary.
that sucks. I am not a fan of either of those things.
Andy, are you trying to tell me I don't know Flip yet?
Nope.
Amazon's first real video. Oh no, we already did this story. Never mind.
Fucking just dives right in there too.
It's all about the no sound. It's all, yeah,
good.
no, nailed it. And
yes.
then I got this last story here, Warren. What's going on Call of Duty? What's going on Call of Duty here?
Let me tell you about a game called Call of Duty. They have their Warzone, which is their battle royale that, admittedly, I have not played in a very long time.
Yeah, it's very small.
But they've had these bunkers on the map for a long time that just haven't been able to been open, and people have been speculating what they might be. They've been teasing, kind of giving these slight little clues that they're going to start opening, whatever. I guess they have now opened, and inside there were a bunch of clues that make people think that this year's Call of Duty is going to be some sort of a reimagining of the first Black Ops game.
Woo! Woo!
Yes. The name Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is one that's been floating around for what it might be.
I am immediately super. I love Black Ops. The first Black Ops campaign, I think, is maybe one of the best Call of Duty campaigns. Tell me about the numbers, Mason. Is so fucking dope. And the thought that like I also really love the reimagining of Modern Warfare they did in that campaign. The thought of giving that treatment to Black Ops, I'm super fucking excited for.
Yeah, it took the words right out of my mouth. The idea of them doing exactly what they did to Modern Warfare 2 Black Ops is like, I'm fucking so in. Take my money even if I never play the multiplayer.
Annie, did you play Black Ops?
The only one I dabbled in was the third one. I never I hadn't played the
that one
first.
didn't even have a campaign, I don't think, did it?
I can't remember. I never played the Call of Duty campaigns.
4 didn't.
Oh,
I
4
think
didn't,
3 had a
yeah.
campaign, yeah.
I made a Black Ops 4. Speaking of games, we
That
shouldn't
was
have
the
4.
first Battle Royale Call of Duty.
Yeah, that was
I think-
last year's, wasn't it?
I thought that
3 was
By last year's. I mean,
3
year
was the
before.
one where there was like a home base, wasn't there? Like a hub that you'd go like hang out in between missions. It was
Yeah,
fucking weird.
I didn't have 3. 3 was the
I
one that
never
was
played
super
3.
like jetpacky, multiplayer, triple jumps, wall running, dabbing while backflipping and getting a headshot on a sniper with no scope.
Oh,
Bullshit.
the headshot 360 dab no scope.
Yes, hell yes.
The
Hell yes.
kind of the I don't even really want to get into it. The oh man, the twist at the end of Black Ops is like is so
Definitely don't get into it.
no, I'm not going to.
I
Chef's
have
kiss.
told Brando this that I think I've only played that one once, and I have not really gone back to it. So
Yeah, everybody at
that's
home,
one that I definitely plan on getting back to.
go play Black Ops. Tell me about the numbers is really good. The conceit of like because the first half of that game is like flashbacks or whatever. The conceit of like tell me about the numbers, Mason. Is, well, here's a story not at all about the numbers. He has like 10 of those. I love
Plus,
Black
the
Ops so
fucking-
much.
The menu thing was so fucking dope when they did that.
Yeah,
The menu.
yeah,
Where you could
What's the
break
menu
out of the
thing?
chair and walk around the fucking menu screen.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. So the campaign kicks off like out of the menu, right? Because the menu's at the chair at the number station, I think, or not at the number station, at the interrogation station.
Yeah.
And then you'd like go right into it, and it'd be like, Mason, tell me about the numbers, and I'm like, oh, what is fucking happening here?
Yeah, that got Reznov. Gary Oldman is in
I
Black
have
Ops.
very fond memories of again, not the campaign. I don't remember anything with the campaign, but Black Ops 2 I think is one of my favorite like multiplayer and also zombies ever
Oh, yeah.
too. I really like the zombies on Black Ops. Always had the better zombies.
I remember 2 also. I remember there being like choice in the campaign for 2 where you like chose
Yeah.
if a dude lived or died or something that kind of
Mm.
really did have a pretty big impact.
And it had Skrillex.
Skrilly, that's just
Fucking
our
right.
boy.
Never
I'm
been a bad
gonna try
guitar
it
game
out.
with Skrillex.
I'm gonna try it out. Okay.
Black Ops is dope. I like Black Ops.
The dolphin dive in 2, I believe.
I talked to that dude who plays.
That's right.
I forget what his name is. That old veteran guy you roll with.
Woods.
Yeah, Woods at E3 one year. He
Oh.
gave me his number. I don't remember. We didn't interview for a video or something, and then he gave me his number and was like, "Hey, why don't you like call me after whatever shit was going on? Maybe we'll." The idea being like, I'll pop by the hotel and like maybe we'll do a podcast or something. And I remember phoning him and him answering, be like, "Hey, hello," and I'm like, "Hey, this is Matt. Whatever we talk." And like I'm halfway through saying who it is. He's like, I got the cops are here. I gotta go," and then just hung up. And that was the last I ever heard of. I don't know what the
Great.
fuck was happening, but I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
But
great.
Never got him on for a podcast. That was
Nope.
a great,
Good man.
great.
Didn't even
au
hear who I
naturel,
was.
Material, whatever
Yeah.
he was bringing from that cop.
Oh, I
deal.
want to hear about the crimes. Forget the video games. Tell me why the cops were showing up. That's all the news we got this week. Like I say, short news week.
I will quickly say that the Overwatch is doing their big archives anniversary event,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
it is, where you can go and buy any skin that's ever been in the game. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're a person like me who has been saving for some such occasion with my in-game currency, now is the time.
I bought a
It's
Halloween
1,000 for the old stuff and 3,000 for all the stuff that's come out in the last year worth of content, I think. So the last Christmas, the last Chinese New Year, the last Halloween, all that stuff's 3.
Yeah.
I went and was super excited to buy a whole bunch of great skins that I've wanted over the years, and then ended up just spending all my coins on the really expensive ones that they released specifically for this event.
Yes.
How many coins you drop, Andy?
6,000, and
Holy
then I still
shit.
have I have 2,500 left to go. So I'm hoping
Damn.
to get enough coins to rather buy another $3,000 one or three $1,000 ones.
I just spent 1,000. I was like hemming and hawing over my 1,000 coin decision. Like, oh, it's a big coin decision here.
You gotta pull the trigger. Like if you wanted to get some good skins, now's the time to grab them.
Got the Banshee Moira. I play a lot of Moira. I got the Banshee Moira skin.
We'll always do it where we'll have a Christmas and I'm like, oh, that's a really great skin. I should get that. But I'm going to wait till the end of the event to see if I get it in a loot box. And then we don't get it in a loot box. And then I don't buy the skin. And then next Christmas rolls around and I'm like, all right, I got to remember to buy that really great skin. Christmas. And then the same thing happens.
How they get you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they're getting. They're not really getting anything. I'm just getting disappointed. That's it.
They're getting cha, Andy. They're getting cha.
You're getting cha.
Podcast at talkingreckless.com is an email address. You can write in
sorry. Just before you do the email, I do have one more news story that I just found that popped up.
Late breaking news.
That'll give us all a good laugh. I don't know if you gentlemen are familiar with the group PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals.
Oh, I know what this is. Yes.
Yeah.
They they shared some footage on Twitter on Wednesday where they had a bunch of people, and I'm assuming this is kind of joking, but also to get a point across of some sort. They had a bunch of people that were holding a quote-unquote protest outside of Blather's museum saying that fish shouldn't be kept in a cage and that they belong in the sea.
What about, like, you have an owl who's running the museum? I have a lot of... Listen, if you're going to draw your line in the sand, maybe it should be like a clear line.
Well, why stop at fit? What about bugs? Why are they not mad about the bugs?
Yeah, well, no bugs allowed in the museum, I don't think. Or he just doesn't like them, right?
Yeah, he'll put them in there.
Keeps them in there.
Yeah, he says
bugs aren't animals.
He says, despite the fact that I despise the creature, you can rest assured it'll be well taken care of.
Exactly.
He's a good man.
Say
He is a good man.
And some of those fucking tanks in there are gigantic. They got lots of room to swim around.
Fuck. And that museum is like, when I first fucking walked into that museum in Animal Crossing, I was going to be like, oh, there's going to be some fucking tanks with the fish I caught like they do in video games. That place is extravagant. Like, for a fucking deserted island in the middle of nowhere, Blathers came in there and he said, I'm going to fucking build a museum. I ain't dicking around here. We're going to make sure that this place is not only dope to look at, but it's going to be a dope place to take care of the animals. I tell you right now, those fish doing way better in that museum than they were the ocean or that tiny ass stream on that island.
And you know what? Listen, I love animals. I got no problem with the animals. I'm all for the ethical treatment of them. But you know what? You came after Blathers, so go fuck yourself, Peter. How about that?
Yeah, well said.
You don't come after fucking Blathers.
I don't have time to unpack my thoughts on whether I think zoos are right or wrong, but I know the Animal Crossing Museum is right.
Yeah, you
that's
goddamn right.
Eads, you summed that up perfectly.
Errol, fucking...
Podcast at talkingreckless.com is an email address.
Carol fucking podcast.
King of the no smell. Where you can write in your electronic M's, your emails, if you like. You can also drop these on our Discord, which now works. Now works apparently. If you want to leave voicemails on there.
Sorry, Eads, weren't you supposed to have a voice thing for this week?
We ended up the person who left the voice thing because it was like a little. It wasn't that it was wordy. I just didn't kind of have time to listen to it and parse it out. They just typed in their question in the chat. What we were doing last week.
No,
we got the short version.
So we're still waiting for a voicemail.
That's right. We only play the ones that are about Will Smith. That was the real problem. Was Will Smith was neither mentioned nor praised.
It's true.
So I'm just going to play any garbage on this podcast. Zach writes in and says, "Hey TR crew, here's some video game randomness for everyone. My wife was choreographing a middle school musical. Been there, buddy. Right as COVID hit, the school switched to making a video about the musical. So my wife and I went to the school this week to film some B-roll. As I'm putting away some extension cords in the closet, my eye spots what could only be an OG Xbox game case. Not one, but two unopened copies of The Hustle Detroit Streets The S in Hustle is a $. Plus a Mummy Dragon Emperor PS2 game. Photos on the Discord. It's true. He did put those photos up there. I can verify that the photos, at least, were authentic. My question to you is, what are some random games that you found in random places? Churches, rec centers, friends' house, yard sales, thrift stores, etc.
Shit. This is another one of those questions where I feel like I need a week to sit on it.
Okay, this is the news. This is the news thing. If you send out the news early, I can have news done. This is that again. I'll send you these emails on Monday, and you're not going to be. All right.
Sorry, my controller was cutting out. Can you repeat the question? Part of it.
Sure. Zach found some old random video games in a school. What are some random video games that you found in random places? Churches, rec centers, friend houses, yard sales, thrift stores, etc. I found, along with a VHS of a porno tape in the ceiling of my basement.
Hell yeah!
Which my brother and I, so I've told the story before, but very quickly, we found this VHS tape up there because I don't remember what we were doing. We had to take the grid ceiling down for some reason. My brother and I found this VHS tape, and we're adults. We were like 17 and 18, not adults, but grown individuals who are like, it's probably porn, obviously. But there's only one VCR in the house, so to make sure, we had to go upstairs to my sister's room and put the porn in her VCR.
Risky maneuver.
And we knew full well what we were doing. We watched it. We're like, yep, this is porn, 100%. Nothing like crazy. And we just left it in the VHS, and then never, ever, ever, ever heard about it again. But also in that ceiling, we found a bunch of old labelless Super Nintendo games, but nobody had a Super Nintendo at the time, so we couldn't try them out.
Yeah.
Do you still have them?
No, almost certainly not. My brother might, actually. I could ask him.
So I, big Super Nintendo fan as well. I had one as a kid. Would play a bunch of games, and I was, I don't know, fucking around being a kid in, like, I'm probably like 6 or 7 in our garage at my parents' place. And there's some boxes, I guess, that got left out there or that got mislabeled or something from when we had moved there when I was even younger, that I was just kind of like exploring shit in the garage, and I found these boxes, and there was like 4 or 5 different Super Nintendo games in there. Ooh. Specifically, one of them was Link to the Past, which I always thought was a super cool find, and that was weird that I found it in like a treasure chest style thing that ended up being my first exposure to the game that has things coming out of treasure chests.
Oh, wow.
Heck of a find. I still remember that day like it was yesterday, too.
Especially when you're a young kid and like video games weren't as plentiful as they were now. It was like, it truly was a treasure. It's like, oh, shit.
To get 4
I'm
or
rich.
5...
Andy, you ever find any games kicking around anywhere?
I'll be able to tell you next week. I got to think about it for a bit. I don't have anything right now.
That's okay.
Have a good one.
I actually don't think I have. So unfortunately, I got to sit
this. This isn't really like a weird place because I think we've all found or seen games in these things before. But the GameCube copy of Gauntlet Legacy that I owned.
Gross.
That I ruined by spilling Pepsi Cola all over it.
Made better by spilling Pepsi Cola all over it.
I got out of a claw game at the Sherwood Park Galaxy Cinema.
Oh shit! I've never seen anybody get a game, especially they're so narrow and like slick with the claw. That's crazy.
It was like a first try thing, and like the claw barely closed when I picked it up. It like did not close as much as it closes when it grabs teddy bears and stuff because it just gets wedged in there.
Yeah.
But we got it. It was what I was going for, but I did not play it long before I was like, well, this is...
Yeah.
I don't know about this game.
Yeah, Dark Legacy, not good. Not good.
I think I beat it.
It was before.
I beat it with a buddy. Coach
Co-op. Yeah.
We only had one game, yeah.
It was the before time where there were no good games and bad games. There was just the game you had.
Yeah.
Podcast at talkingrocks.com is the email address. You want to write in your thoughts, stories, anecdotes, other things like that. Drop them on the old email or the subreddit if you want to say nice things about Will Smith. Play those here as well. What do I got coming up here? Do Rolling Reckless every Sunday. That's our Dungeons and Dragons podcast. is super fun, and hopefully there's one of us back in the studio up by the time you hear this. That'd be cool. We have a Westworld podcast called Westworld FM, which if you watch Westworld, you know I need to say no more. Tons of things.
The saga, it's entertaining to listen to people talk to it regardless of the result. I like to think that some of our best Westeros FM stuff was the stuff when we started not liking the show.
Yes, the lead up is like, if you watch episode and listen episode by episode, it's really fun to like guess at conspiracy theories and do all the like the guesswork and stuff. Yeah, episode by episode. It's not about the destination in Westworld. It's about the journey. But that's out there for you as well. We got an anime podcast called Super Saiyan Pod Super Saiyan, the world's premier anime podcast. Lots of stuff. Go find it all. TalkingReckless.com. Andy, thank you very much, my friend, for making the time for us.
It was a pleasure to be here. Sorry, I feel like I was a little angry this week. I promise next week I'll bring more of a positive vibe.
Well,
I won't.
I appreciate that. It's all the Dragon Ball.
Hit him with a dolphin.
Just got you fired up. Brandon, thank you very much for joining us here today, making the time.
It was good to be here. This was nice.
Warren Bears, always a pleasure, my friend. That's what we all say when you're here. It's just I like what a fool believes.
What a good song.
What a fool who believes. And you at home, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll be back in studio next week. Sorry to get these all out of my system. Get them in while I can. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you here. 7 days will be the next episode of the Tom Reckless Podcast. We'll see you then.
How much of this are we allowed to play?
Oh, you ruined it. Is our extra. Stop
Get
it.
to the good part. Come on.
You're going to get the end of this video muted, and then I'm not going to release it for the podcast.
We have to give analysis on this so it doesn't get taken down.
Yeah, that's right. This is technically a parody.
Yeah.
It's great. 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Goodbye, everybody.
I really...
Thanks. You want one closing thought, Brandon?
No, I actually thought we were done.
Oh, I'm just going to turn the stream off. Goodbye, stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you tomorrow. That's what I was waiting for.